Warning, the voices heard in this video are made synthetically using artificial intelligence. Nothing in this video reflects anything actually stated by the real-life individuals involved. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and serious political content will be avoided for that purpose. Enjoy!
They called it Amgarrak. Victory. Out of arrogance or optimism. They hoped to earn a victory for the Dwarven people by recreating Caridin's research. But the thaig was abandoned. The researchers lost. The deep road swallowed Amgarrak in the dream of reclaiming our former glory. While the dark spawn ravaged the surface, we sent an expedition to uncover the thaig. My brother was with them. They never returned. I write to you, Warden, because you have accomplished things others have declared impossible. Help me find my brother and bring him home. This is a matter of great sensitivity, and I can trust no one but you.
Obama's special episode is here. No need to shed any more tears, so go grab an ice-cold beer and before you give a nasty leer. I have your favorite Republican and Democratic president right here.
Oh boy, I'm the favorite. Go to George really struck the second tower of the viewers' hearts, huh?
Raising but more important than that base bill did have relations with the viewers' heads because we are backed by popular demand. Anyway, not that I don't appreciate the invite, but I'm noticing a distinct lack of necrotic skin and McDonald's smells in the White House today. Where's Joe and Donald?
Yeah, and why is Horny Bill here too? I thought we could run a two-man nerd bama.
Well, Donald's on brand. He has no interest in this DLC or any special episode that doesn't involve a goth waifu. And Joe was burnt out from playing Dead Space and said he's not touching any horror-related game unless it involves waifus.
Those two are more alike than they realize, huh?
Well, it's important to swap out your threesome partners frequently. And I'm down to give you some behind-the-scene commentary, Barry.
Long as it's behind the screen and not behind your dirty-ass sheets, Billy boy.
Love you too, Georgie, but given the plot of this DLC, I think you should have played instead. It's right out of your dreams, given your love of tugs, since we start out with two burly dwarfs and we're on the hunt for more dude dwarfs.
No comment.
See, this is perfect. It's like they are still here.
Wait, what do you mean, Barry?
Never mind, but speaking of our squad makeup, George, Bill does have a point. This story features all dwarves and golems. I think you can vibe with this dungeon.
Finally, the base dwarves get a win. It's good to see them representing the best race finally.
Not only that, but you boys went dwarf noble as your origin, right? That makes this story crazy appropriate for your warden to play. Not only does your guy know the Dace family personally, but he would also naturally care about the history here.
Right on the money, Bill. That's the big reason I was all right picking last in the DLC turn order. This mission is just the kind of journey POTUS would take on before he reaches retirement.
Given how many months y'all played this game, retirement can't come soon enough for your little guy, I imagine.
Your old ass would think that Georgie, but back to the gameplay, I don't mean to backseat you, Barry, but an archer is almost always the most optimal way to build Dace here.
Literally only 1 month older than you, Bill.
Oh, so that's what that feels like. I don't mind, it just feels weird to experience backseating from the other side of the chair. But as for your question, archers are probably better for this DLC, but personally I just love dual-wield rogues more, and we just finished both Origins and Awakening where the party's archer was either Joe or Donald's favorite, so I'm kind of done with archers now.
Besides, dwarves are so thick, are they even supposed to be archers?
Oh boy, that sentence is going to age like Milk George.
Look who's talking, Billy, but hey, we got a golem of our own. Let's take him back to town and collect our 10,000 gold pieces.
Well, we can't sell this one, George. He is going to be our buddy. He also acts as the only bit of side content in this DLC since we can run around the dungeon looking for upgrades for him.
Experimented on existing golems in Amgarrak.
My player agency would prefer the gold, but if he's going to be in our party, I guess I should give him a name. I'm thinking Bob.
Well, on the plus side, Georgie, most golems were once dwarves, so this is technically a third dwarven squad mate now. That being said, our golem could have been a woman.
Don't care, still going to call him Bob.
Fair enough, we will ignore that obvious Overwatch reference for now, George. But before we get the golem as our friend, we have to walk over to the other side of the cave and get the control rod to make Bob our new friend.
Is using your control rod how you usually make friends, Nerd Bama? That explains a whole lot if that's the case.
Oh shit, Barack better have burned heel.
Well, you all suck, but I can't say that I'm not painfully used to this by now, so it would almost feel weird if you guys weren't assholes.
Now, you know I love you, Barry, you goddamn nerd. I just feel like I have to keep up appearances and give you Democrats some shit every now and then. Old habits die hard.
We know that's true, you old bastard, because you still play 3.5 in Dungeons and Dragons.
No comment.
My point exactly. Anyway, Obama, do we have any idea what this fade wall mist is? We have never seen anything like this before.
If I had to guess based on the context of other anomalies we see later, Bill, it's fair to say that the mist is an overflow of the fade energies attracted by the lyrium wells inside Amgarrak. The lyrium wells powered all the golem experiments in the area and are made from the combined effort of Tevinter magical knowledge and dwarven lyrium smithing. Despite how powerful these things are, we never see them again, unfortunately.
Well, we got our boy Bob now, so I can thank the lyrium wells for this absolute unit I can imagine.
Well, let's see if you change your tune after you see him in action, Georgie.
Wait, hold on. Did we just get attacked by blue ghosts? What in the Mario movie did I just witness?
Looks like those lyrium wells are having a little fun with you, Georgie.
Don't mind those things, George. We will learn more about the blue ghosts as we explore. Besides the ghost we're guarding a loot cache, it's not all bad.
A random stockpile of runes and potions. I wonder if it's a warning about what's to come.
Sounds like some pretty heavy foreshadowing. Time to make a perception check.
All right, then, well, past the spooky ghosts, we have our first impromptu boss fight. Honestly feels somewhat out of place, but get ready for that trend to continue.
And get ready for the trend of your holy smites to be resisted too. That being said, there's a lot of undead in the dungeon. Did you bring Topsider's honor?
No, Donald threw it on justice, so that. Blade was lost at the Battle of the Keep along with the Sentinel armor. If I didn't know any better, I would say that was intentional. But I doubt he planned that far ahead, unfortunately. We're a bit lacking in runes at the moment. All the ones we have are silverite, which are now pointless since we finished fighting all the darkspawn in Awakening.
Well, even without top-tier weapons, your guy's armor is still insane enough to make up for it.
Speaking of insane, why are we following a ghost? That's like how every horror movie starts.
Well, it worked out, Georgie. We found the place. We're looking for you. Just got to make sure your balls aren't a decoration and grow them.
Fine, but I'm still saying, like horror movie protagonists, we are lacking survival instinct.
Looks like George had a point about the ghost because now we are locked in the dungeon. I guess one of those ghosts was an asshole after all.
Hey, now you know what? Fuck it, we are dwarves. They are trapped in here with us, not the other way around. Roll for initiative.
That's what I like to hear, Georgie. This is what was missing in y'all's Halloween special, boys.
Love the confidence, but every fight from here to the final boss is going to make or break the run because this dungeon goes hard.
You can thank a person known on Xbox as Sniper Guy XFeet Love for that one. Some of the game designers were playing Halo 3 and got called out by Sniper God that Origins was for basic casuals. They spent the next 3 months after that match making this dungeon to torture everyone. It was a full scorched earth level design.
Damn game designers really don't play with difficulty.
Bill, did that really happen?
Yes, it was either Xbox trash talk or we wanted to punish whoever designed Darkspawn Chronicles. It was one of the two.
Presidents try not to complain about Darkspawn Chronicles Challenge impossible.
Trust me, Georgie, that DLC is more of a punishment than anything the justice system could create.
Well, speaking of punishment, the first fight after you said that nearly took everyone out. Come on now, Pro-Bama, we got to stand on business for Tug. Dying to the first fight in the dungeon is not it.
Not going to lie, George, if you're trying to get me giddy, calling me Pro-Bama is an easy way to do it. That being said, no worries, I remember most of the hard fights in this DLC, and I have a few tactics in mind.
Heavy pause.
Given how POTUS is built like a goddamn space marine, you might not even have to try that hard but go off queen.
Looks like we found our target, boys.
He's blue. If he was green, he would die.
I always thought it was I peed on a dime.
If you thought it was that, Bill, I have a spare hearing aid that Joe isn't using, I don't want you mishearing the story of Amgarrak, after all.
Only thing I need to hear better is my sneaky link phone ringing, if you know what I mean, boys.
Hey, you horny bastards, you realize we're putting this out on YouTube, right?
Oh shit, I mean, all I need to hear is my loving wife. When she tells me to take the garbage out for the 15th goddamn time, I would never do anything immoral, boys.
All right then, Bill, well, since he only speaks the color of blue, we need to find a way to be blue ourselves in order to talk to him.
That sounds like the plot to a Mario game, but I'm invested now, so let's do it. This guy seems like a good older brother I can relate. I would gladly turn blue for any of my siblings except Jeb because he knows what he did.
All right, that was incredibly wholesome until the end there, George, but no worries, we are going to get Brogan out of there.
Their brotherly bond had to be strong. I mean, why else would Bro be in his goddamn name? I swear, though, this DLC is largely carried by the fact that Varric's voice actor, Brian Bloom, voices Jarek.
Hold the yap a moment. Who is Varric?
He's a dwarf companion with an automatic crossbow, George.
Based, I like him already.
You and the rest of the Dragon Age community, Georgie. It's also ironic that Varric voices this guy, considering the fact that Varric's family, on the surface, helped to fund this entire expedition.
That is a crazy bit of connectivity with House Tethras, but it's even crazier that they apparently helped fund this expedition, and because this expedition didn't produce any results or treasure to return to investors, so the Tethras family's money was more limited than it should have been when Bartrand began planning his expedition a few months later, which is why Huck is able to come in and make his mark on Kirkwall. There was some cut interconnection between Tu and Amgarrak, because the Nexus Golem also references the events of the DLC, but we can't find a solid connection as is.
Yeah, I got like none of that, but it sounds like really important world building, so I'm here for it, boys.
It is, but unfortunately it was all told behind the scenes in codexes. Instead of presented to our face, the last 2 DLC missions here actually build up a lot of building blocks for Dragon Age 2, which is why it's kind of a massive L. They were playing Veilguard before Dragon Age 2, being honest.
Damn, I guess there is a reason they call you Based Bill after all. I see your point, Bill. Me and the boys just really want to play Veilguard, and if we are going to be playing it anyway, we might as well make content with it and kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Don't diss Veilguard, Billy boy. That is my game, and by Texas, I am going to represent it well, believe me.
Well, good luck. With that one, Georgie, only time will tell if that's a base take or if you're going to die on that Alamo.
Well, so far we have been having fun. Viewers get hyped for that. The wait is all but over.
Goddamn, our Golem bro is really getting fucked up. It's ironic that the Steel Golem is actually the most squishy member of our party. I would say it's a skill issue, but it doesn't start with heals and it won't drink potions. So we are kind of stuck as far as he's concerned. He's just a bigger target to take blows.
Now don't make excuses, Obama Llama. You got to work harder to keep my boy Bob alive.
I will do my best, George, but Bill has a point. I can't heal him, so whatever damage he takes, he has to live with. Anyways, boys, we got our color shifted to blue, so now we can make our way back to Brogan, but first there was a blue door we should check out for some solid loot.
Okay, I am definitely getting some Mario vibes now, so there were enemies that shot out red. We had to be blue to reach one of our Dwarven brothers, and I saw some purple doors up ahead, which means we have to change colors even more to get into rooms. What the hell was BioWare cooking with this?
All right, I admit it, the level designers got a little too toasted off my famous Bill bars while playing Mario Sunshine, which is why we have this color mechanic, because they thought the colors would express the different moral shades of the experiments here, or something. I don't know, they ate 3 bars. Instead of 1/3 of the bar, like I recommended, shit got lost in translation.
But moving on what kind of experiments were going on here, all I know is they like to tinker with golems, and there seems to be a lot of the big guys here.
Oh, that's right. I guess I didn't explain the plot to you, George, my bad. Well, Amgarrak was a Dwarven research facility to try and find a different method to create golems, because the ability to make golems was lost centuries ago after the creator of golems disappeared along with the device that created the golems. They succeeded with the help of a Tevener mage. However, the creation wasn't a golem of steel or stone, but they used flesh and blood magic. This creation also wasn't easy to control like a regular golem and turned on its creators, leaving no survivors and becoming lost to the ages, same as the original way to create golems. I will go more into that clusterfuck of a being when we reach them, because it's the final boss. Also, the name Amgarrak in Dwarven tongue means victory, which is very ironic as to what actually happened here.
Oh, so that's what that crawly white thing we see crawling around is. I thought it was one of those awakened sperms from Rick and Morty.
Don't forget to grab another skill book in this chest here, and we have to come back here when the colors are turned off for a golem upgrade. But for now, let's get our last dwarf party member, boys.
Oh, goddamn, this is the highest concentration of the base dwarfs I have ever seen since The Lord of the Rings. Let's go, boys.
What?
Looks like this last guy is barely coming down after a high as well. Bro is having the worst trip of his life.
If this was Mass Effect, we would probably have to put this guy down for being indoctrinated, but as it stands, Bro is just scared because he saw his entire squad get harvested in the traditional sense.
Harvested like some damn farm tools?
No, George.
Oh shit, that's not good.
Please find Darian.
I know Darian Olmec. He's a scholar who led the expedition. Brogan, listen. Is Darian Olmec still alive?
Yes. No.
You're going to use the ability reset on this dude, right, Barack? Considering he is built like a worse POTUS.
Yep, that's the plan, Bill. I'm going to turn him into a two-hander warrior and give him the Mother's Blade just because it looks cool as hell. It will be nice to build a two-hander without someone going on a rant about how two-handers in Origins are the worst thing to ever happen to gamers in the last decade. But with that, we will cut back in a moment, viewers.
Let's go.
Okay, have a point Obama. That sword with the 2 points is almost as cool as a curved sword. Also looks like we have another boss battle in front of us. This color realms are goddamn chaotic. We just had a fight in this area 5 minutes ago, and now we are having another boss battle.
That was more Sith lightning than I was expecting.
Well, the dungeon map is surprisingly small. They have to pad out the run time somehow, George. The map being small wouldn't even be a problem if this map wasn't ripped straight from Cal Hyrule in Awakening.
Wait, Cal Hyrule, why does that name sound familiar? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I'm sure having something at the tip of your tongue is a familiar feeling, Georgie.
Now stand up and say that to my face, Billy boy.
If you insist, I will come right to your face, Georgie.
Okay, ladies, calm down, but to answer your question, George, Cal Hyrule was where you joined our session last, where we fought the lava golem and saw more tentacles.
Oh shit, the hentai haven, that's right. This better not be some kind of trap to show me your sick fetish, Obama, otherwise I'm going to break out the wild hog cooker. That's Texan for my .308 caliber rifle for the unaffiliated.
No, George, we promise this is not a trap, but if you don't mind, I might have to lock in here for a moment.
Well, thank God there's not any tentacle scenes in Veilguard, right?
Yeah, there's no tentacles here, but Barack over here is
Why
getting
didn't y'all answer
double-teamed
the
the
question?
old-fashioned way. All the same, I think this might be the end of the death-free run, being honest.
All right, Bill, there's a lot of things I allow to slide, but let me be clear, I am finishing this run deathless. Origins is my game, no substitutions. POTUS is still damn near immortal. If I get into a tight spot, I can still use Carapace and become immune for 15 seconds. I didn't misplay this hard, as you can obviously see. I got a little too comfortable in my immortality. I should have focused on all the arcane horrors instead of the Revenant, since the 5 damn mages wiped out the rest of my squad. POTUS is basically immune to magic though, so I will just take them out now, and this will be easy goddamn money.
Goddamn, the dwarves stay winning even in the torture chamber that is DLC.
Looks like you were right, Bill. The arcane horror in this DLC are basically immune to Holy Smite.
I'm always right, Obama. But while we watch this slapfest go on, is there something we can do in the meanwhile? Or should me and George just pop cold ones like we are fishing?
Well, actually, we hit a record in Super Thanks last episode with 3 whole Super Thanks, and we have 3 presidents here. Can you boys handle the first 2 shout-outs while I finish this fight out? I know we normally ask a comment question before the feature, but we handle the special episodes a little differently. So for a comment question, viewers, what was your most difficult boss fight in the Dragon Age series?
I'm glad we can stay regular. It makes my DM brain happy. Well, first super thanks we have here is from Miss Funky Space. She donated us $5 to thank us for the crazy ride this series has been, and she's excited to watch us play the DLC, so I hope you're enjoying this special episode, Funky Space. I don't know what a Morrigan mirror is, but it sounds like something that would turn Donald on, so hopefully you can see it soon.
Oh, I'm sure that gets Donald going more than me when I meet a new White House secretary. But next up, we have a big $10 from Gaming Mythology, who says they're a relatively new viewer who is excited about Veilguard and U3's Veilguard series. From what I understand, our editor is working on the first episode as you're watching this, so look forward to the first episode next week, Mythology.
Thank you for the 3-pointer assist, boys. Now that the battle's over, I can cover this last one. Big shout-outs to the $10 from Troy Boy, who donated $10 and earned the pinned comment for this episode, as we will always pin the first super thanks we get, regardless of the amount, just to be fair to the quick draws among you. He says he loves binge watching this series at work, which is base, but don't get in trouble on our account, man, so stay slick. Even if you're just listening to this series as background noise, we greatly appreciate it. And a like and a comment when you get a chance is all we ask, but going the extra mile. With a donation means the world and helps us produce this videos even faster for you all. So from the bottom of our hearts and the editor's heart, thank you. Also a big shout out to George Gale, who donated $10 to our editor's first Veilguard stream. Even if it wasn't me and the boys playing supporting our editor in his side streams was a dream come true, so thank you, George.
All right, now that we have thoroughly praised our donators and their confirmed massive schlongs, we should get back to the video. Looks like we went from blue world to purple world, and we are not crossing the bridge, so I can already smell what's about to happen.
Well, I assume Barry is going on another side quest to upgrade our dude Bob. Considering he dies almost every fight, he could certainly use it.
Well, he is, but let me display a meme along with a small musical melody about what's about to happen.
But don't be greedy, set it out. It's time to try some more. So find a friend, play the game. That's what a gangbang's for. We're having a gangbang, we're having a ball. We're having a gangbang against the wall. We're lame to join us, it's part of the fun.
Sort of crude, Bill, but I guess that's to be expected from you, but no worries, I have a decent strategy to win this fight. And like I said before, POTUS is just built different, so I'm sure we will be fine.
Oh shit, that is a lot of big dudes coming at you all at once.
Nah, don't worry, our dwarfs can take on all those guys at once.
Phrasing, please.
Oh wait, did you guys mean in like a fight?
Mega pause, what the hell, Bill?
Okay, that's the last gangbang joke I'm going to allow on this episode, Bill. Let's shelf the rest of those so I can focus here. So my main plan is to pull everyone back into the other room and have the golems file in one or two at a time. Since they are so massive, they can't all fit. That way, we just have to handle them two at a time, which is imperative because of how much crowd control each of these guys have.
So I'm no General MacArthur, but it looks like them crowding up the door was a double-edged sword because the older brother Bob couldn't fit either. And now even the rhino died. For some reason, this is a damn DEFCON 1 event for the little guys.
Yeah, I really needed Jarek to make it into the room too. That's a lot of missing damage now. As for the Rhino George, he was Jarek's ranger summon, so he died when Jarek did. It's not all Joe ever yet. I still have POTUS and Brogan. They should be tanky enough to survive and take care of the threats. My door plan is still working as intended.
Well, your door plan worked Barry there, staying clumped together, but you still have 3 more boss golems to go, and the more of them you kill, the less clumped up that door is going to become. So this is going to be a slower burn than what I get when I visit a corner street at 2 a.m.
It always comes back to gooning with you.
All right, that innuendo is more acceptable than the topic of gang banging, so I will take it. Elephant in the room here, boys. I could have played this way more optimally. I could have, for example, left everyone else in the party in the other room and sent POTUS in the room alone to tank the golems. I also could have kept running even further around the map. The golems would all eventually get stuck on one doorway or another. And you can easily split the golems and take them out perfectly one at a time, not still clustered like they are here. You can also use a beautiful bombing strategy where you get them all clumped in a doorway, like this, build about 100 bombs, and have everyone in the party learn poison making so they cluster bomb all of the golems who are more weak to magic damage than physical damage. This bombing works even better if your warden is a mage who can use storm spells.
You could also have avoided the fight entirely if you just played with the rune switches enough while you loot the chests.
Yeah, but that's boring content for the viewers, plus this might seem a little petty, but I want to get as many boss counters as I can before this series ends, and 4 more bosses is too good to pass up.
Wait, hold on, there's that term boss counter again. I remember you guys have brought that up in the last special episode. What was the competition about? All I remember is I'm representing Veilguard.
I guess it will be a good refresher. We are in the last hour of the series. Donald and Joe have been tracking all our bosses killed during our entire Origins and Awakening playthrough, and we each had 1 DLC, which we did as a special episode. The goal of the boss competition is all 3 of us have a different opinion on the best Dragon Age game. My vote is for Origins. Joe's is Dragon Age 2, and Donald is fighting for Inquisition. So when the victor is declared next episode, the other 2 presidents have to admit live to our viewers that the winner's Dragon Age is the definitive best in the series, no takebacks.
I am also on Barak's side with Origins being the best, but he wouldn't let me donate the 1 boss battle I won in episode 22. But besides, what's the score up to now, Barak?
So Donald is in 3rd place right now with 25 bosses killed. Joe has 28 bosses killed, but his time in Origins has come to a close last episode. And finally, with these 4 golems killed, I now have 32 bosses killed, and I still have about 3 more bosses left.
Holy shit, I just realized 7 of those bosses were in this episode alone. This DLC really pushed you ahead in the competition, huh? But Donald still has 1 more episode coming up. Does he have a chance to catch up?
Well, if Donald was here, I would clam up right now, but since he's not here and he doesn't watch the episodes he's not a part of, I can finally admit that he has cooked. The competition was over the second Joe, and Donald ignored Amgarrak in favor of their waifu DLC. Witch Hunt only has about 3 bosses, if I remember correctly, so Donald will likely be tied with Joe for 2nd place. I do have a favor to ask you too, though. I ask that you keep it quiet until the end of Witch Hunt, how many bosses I actually killed. I don't want Donald to crash out the entire episode. It would be lousy content.
Hey, you know I got you, Barak. If anyone asks, I will say I did not witness Barak kill 10 bosses in 1 episode.
I am a dungeon master by trade. If there's one thing I know is to keep things hidden from the players for the content and drama. I got you, Big B Obama.
Thank you, boys, and despite me drinking more health potions than my beloved Irish brethren on St. Paddy's Day, looks like I scored a massive ass-clenching W. The reason I fought all these golems in addition to the boss counters is there's another upgrade for your boy Bob. Also, now that we lost our color, we can grab another healing upgrade in the room we cleared out before when we were blue.
We're on the last leg of things today, Barack. Do you know how to solve the puzzle here?
Oh yeah, I got you. Tell me, George, do you know where it's fun to stay at?
Well, it's fun to stay at the YMCA, but what about at Rhinebama?
Well, actually, George, it's fun to stay at the YMWC since that's the combo to make red and reach the final boss. Apparently, I don't know why they didn't do YMCA. The pattern was right there, and it would have been an ounce of joy in this otherwise bleak story.
I swear I told them to make the password something fun like YMCA, but I guess it got lost in translation like the phone game, Barack.
I think they just wanted to stay on brand for their horror movie theme, but now that we're in the red zone is the last thing we have here, the final boss. I feel like all we have done this entire time is fight bosses. This is a very heavy combat session of Dragon Age. I feel like Joe's special episode had a lot more of a story and was much more well-paced.
You are absolutely on the money with that one, Georgie. The story only has a few scenes of dialogue about golems and meeting Jarrek's brother, and everything else lore-wise is told through codex entries and voice journal entries, which is probably why this will be the shortest episode of the President's Play Dragon Age to date. The biggest missed opportunity of all is the story's premise is a follow-up to the base story of Origins or Zamor sections, particularly about the Anvil of the Void, even keeping all your main decisions in Zamor in mind at the start, but then the rest of the DLC does nothing with it, and there's no moral choices in this entire story.
Like Bill said, one of the main reasons for this DLC was to create a challenge for fans who thought Origins and Awakening was too easy, and they absolutely succeeded on that front. The other main reason for this DLC was to create some hype for Dragon Age 2, which is a trait shared by Witch Hunt as well, but Amgarrak mostly failed on that front. There were story beats that only tie into Dragon Age 2 when you dig deep enough, and the final boss was supposed to show the type of enemies you would face in Dragon Age 2, but the Harvester in Dragon Age 2 is popularly known as one of the worst boss battles in the series.
Goddamn, I hope BioWare didn't charge much for this DLC. Honestly, given the amount of content this expansion has, it sounds like it should have been free.
Now, EA would never allow any content to be free, Georgie. That's rule number one in gaming.
It was around $5, George, but I will be honest, I didn't bother getting this DLC or Liana's Song until I bought the Ultimate Edition years later, and I'm glad I didn't. This is a mostly moot point because Origins is often free on the EA Store, and the Ultimate Edition is often sold on Steam for $5. The only DLCs that were worth it on their own was probably Awakening, Stone Prisoner, Warden's Keep, and Witch Hunt, but as a collection, the Ultimate Edition is always worth it.
It also doesn't help that most people don't really vibe with Origins combat, so making a whole DLC where their main highlight is long stretches of combat isn't going to be appealing to many players.
Not to mention there's backtracking, which I don't think is a huge deal when done like this in short bursts, but it's still not the most engaging gameplay. The main reason I am backtracking is mostly my fault, since I am trying to show everyone where each of the golem upgrades are in case they are missing one for the achievement. As underwhelming as the DLC is in terms of gameplay, all three of the achievements are still worth getting since they give the Dace, Amulet, Sash of Forbidden Secrets, and Reaper's Cudgel respectively. The first two are items you can slot on a character and keep on for the entire game, and the Reaper's Cudgel is worth about 300 gold, which is an insane economic boon to any playthrough.
I have seen enough about this game that 300 gold is a goddamn massive amount, boys. That is the equivalent of oil money in this game. Also, there's 2 more bosses. What a goddamn surprise.
At least they went down quickly. It's just another mage immune to Holy Smite and a tanky ghost. But I imagine we are about to encounter a giant roadblock in the final boss.
Wait, was the golem orgy not the biggest challenge in this dungeon? The final boss is actually worse?
Arguably, yes, George the Harvester has more health than any other enemy in the game. For context, it has double the health of the final boss of Origins at max level, and that is a fight that you are supposed to have a whole army, and that is just the first phase it has too. It's very weak to magic, but as you can see, the only mage we have is the golem, who may or may not last longer than 30 seconds.
That's probably a common problem that you relate to, Barack.
So we'll go get fucked, oh trauma.
Oh, eat a dick, I guess some things never change.
Well, I'm sure everyone forgot about the side objective that our bro Brogan gave us. But here's the leader of the expedition, Darian. He just died from unknown means, kind of a letdown being honest. He does have a note that tells you how to solve the color puzzle. If you needed help, but Barack blew past that already.
The way our dwarven brother was gassing up how important this guy was, you would think we would have at least been able to have a conversation with this guy before he died. Something to add to the lore enrichment or make the stakes a little higher. I guess you have a point, though it barely even mattered because I had already forgot who this dude was anyway.
And well, rip Bozo, and now it's time for the final boss. Also, don't forget to switch back to red mode, before you go down the stairs the last golem upgrade for the achievement, and also because you want this golem as strong as possible for the harvester.
Let's go take this critter out. Final challenge to go deathless Barak. Let's see it.
Let's curb stomp this overgrown sperm cell back to where it came from. Oh, holy shit, never mind, that thing is goddamn massive. This might be a problem. I didn't realize the flesh golem was that goddamn big.
Well, it is called the Harvester for a reason, George, and I think its body is literally made from the rest of Brogan's expedition team. Anyways, I have to equip all our poisons on the squad. The good news is it doesn't matter how many supplies I use, Donald will still have the same amount for his episode since the latest save will be before the fight anyway, so I'm going to go all out.
Bro is about to put in every ounce of his nerdy blood sweat and semen into this fight, it looks like.
But why the hell did you have to say it like that, Bill? So is this giant white bastard the hardest boss fight in the entire game, Obama?
Well, it's very close, George. In terms of stats, this thing is the hardest boss, no contest, but I will say that the Cawthron fight might still be harder because of the level you have to face the fight and the sheer numbers the fight starts out with. Then again, it's easier to deal with the additional enemies in the Cawthron fight, so this boss might still be harder. If I wasn't shooting this fight for a video, my main strategy would be to aggro everyone with POTUS and Snug and then put everyone else in archery range to whittle away at him slowly. Snug is really underrated if you don't already have a tank, since he has a ability that automatically pulls aggro to him. As it stands, because I wanted to take care of him a little faster for the content, I went a dual-wield rogue with high dex for defense and made Brogan a tanky two-hander, so we have plenty of damage between the three Dwarven brothers.
Goddamn, that is a lot to manage, but you are slowly kicking its ass, so that's a good sign. I notice the color keeps switching on and off. Does that affect anything in the battle that seems too deliberate to be random?
Oh, good eye, George. Yeah, when the room is red, he is more weak to magic. And when the room has regular color, he is more weak to physical damage, which is why we did damn near half his health when the red turned off. It's also why a mage warden is so ideal for this DLC, since it balances out the magic and physical damage more evenly.
Thankfully, I'm a spirit warrior, so a lot of POTUS's damage is magical anyway. This is also why I am trying to control the golem more in the fight I need to keep him alive, at least for the entire first section, so the second section is a little easier. Once he becomes small, we don't need magic as much since all his resistances go away in his second form.
Honestly, this would be a cool boss fight for a high-level D&D party. Making a boss switch between spell immunity and physical immunity would create a lot of teamwork in a well-made party and help every player feel like they were doing something in the fight. That is so important for D&D boss battles.
It's always about dice rolls with you, Georgie.
Well, honestly, that may have been partially what they were going for, but since we can't build our own party like in the base game, this falls a bit flat. Anyway, the second form is coming up, and the problem with this, despite him being far less tanky, is the fact he moves and jumps all around the map, and he can summon way more adds during this section.
All right, if they tried to sell this DLC based on the boss alone, they might have been successful. This is an intense boss fight with several good mechanics. I'm actually hyped to see you all fight this sperm cell again in Dragon Age 2.
The thing about that, though, George, is the Dragon Age 2 fight is much more underwhelming. Sure, the Harvester is just as tanky, but all the extra adds and mechanics that were in Origins are missing, and you not only get a fully built party of 4, but you get plenty of additional allies to help you out, making the fight almost a shadow of what Origins made. Also, Barak, you know you can disable all the undead by hitting the switch right.
Oh shit, you can? I actually had no idea, Bill. I wish I knew that like 2 minutes ago, but I guess that's my skill issues.
Yeah, I didn't say shit because I really thought you knew.
There are things that Barry didn't know about. Goddamn, that does not bode well for the sperm cell's second stage. Bro's about to go Frieza on us.
I think somewhere between the horror mage orgy and the golems, taking my party to pound town my game knowledge got somewhat cooked. Although no matter how much game knowledge I may have, if I don't chug every health potion available and drink a few rock salves, this fight is actually impossible.
Well, I assume when he munches on those corpse pile, that's how he summons the extra enemies. Is there any way to stop him from doing that?
No, he is immune to most crowd control. So the most you can do is take advantage of the boss being locked in place. When doing that, and try to take out his relatively low health. Some extra advice I can give to make this fight more free is to try to equip your Warden with as much dodge chance as possible, which if you grab evasion runes, the King's Greaves, combat magic, and spell Ward, you can actually get 100% dodge chance, which is what most gamers use to defeat this boss on Nightmare. They also load up on nature salves for each party member to prevent damage from the Harvester's abilities.
Well, you could reach 100% dodge chance, but tell me, Barak, are you a bitch?
I don't see what that has to do with anything. A win is a win.
Yes, but are you a bitch?
Okay, fine. I'm not a bitch. Let's end this fight the old-fashioned way.
Well, the nature salve was still a good idea.
I think the rock salve may have been a massive mistake, since even though it's preventing some of the damage, the undead are still able to swarm my party far easier, and I am taking more hits anyway.
That's a massive skill issue, because now those undead assholes killed our little bro, and this fight is really coming down to the wire, Obama. Time to clutch up for the victory royale.
This is going to be close. Give him the Educan special, dwarf. Kick Obama.
All right, calm your titties, boys. We still have Jarek and POTUS, who has not gone down this entire fight, by the way. I'm going to ignore the final ads and focus everything on him, since he's almost dead. The fact that we have 2 massacre abilities on our team has been really carrying us. Since he has no defenses, it's time to pull out my final power.
Finish this bitch, Barack. You got this.
Shit looks like he is going for the classic bombing strategy, unsurprisingly.
Never doubt the classics, boys. My man Dworkin has us here for the final hit, and with that, my time in Origins is at the end, and yes, viewers, just like Joe, it was deathless.
Oh shit, my beloved Bob got killed by the boulder. Why do the ones I love the most in this game always die?
Skill issues, well, let me the first to congratulate you, Barack. A deathless run of Amgarrak. Wasn't easy, but you did it. And with 35 bosses killed, a massive W for us Origins enjoyers.
Oak, the dwarves may be base, but wanting to keep any of the research here to make more flesh golems is insane. Y'all need to leave.
Damn, you know, moral decision about sparing some of the research or revealing the location of this thaig may have genuinely elevated this DLC somewhat. Anything to expand on the Anvil of the Void dilemma would have helped.
Everything's lost.
No, brother. We're still alive.
It unfortunately gets worse. We have a little cliffhanger scene to watch as well.
How dramatic, but at least the 3 dwarves made it out. Rest in peace to Bob, though gone but never forgotten.
Well, now all we have is Witch Hunt with Donald. I assume me and George are invited to that as well.
Absolutely, I am hoping next episode we can have all 5 presidents here for the finale. For once, should be interesting.
I haven't had a 5-way since 2003, but I'm down to Tango Barack.
Say that shit again, and I'm getting a belt, but I am down to see what the hype for Morgan is about. So Emma, see you all in a few weeks. Take us home, Barack.
Thank you all for watching this special episode. Viewers, don't forget to like the video and leave your comment question on what you think is the hardest boss fight in the Dragon Age series. Our editor will read and respond to everyone, and we will feature our favorite comment from the last 2 episodes in our Witch Hunt finale. Our next episode will be the long-awaited first episode of Veilguard, since we know plenty of fans in the Discord have been waiting for that. Speaking of join the Discord, if you haven't already, we have a Veilguard channel where you can show your characters or updates on your playthrough, and our editor is incredibly responsive on there as well. Also, if you want early Veilguard content, our editor is going to stream again about an hour after this episode ends, since the first stream was so much fun. But before I go, just a quick serious message. I know it's mostly jokes, but if you're American 18 and up watching this, please make sure you go out and vote if you haven't already. We aren't telling you who to vote for or anything like that. We just want you all to make sure your voice is heard. And with that disclaimer out of the way, stay safe. Obama out.